Get the fuck out of here. Alright. Jeez. This game is based on one of the worst movies ever to come out. So how bad is the game in comparison? Well, let's find out.
First off, we get greeted by the WB Interactive Entertainment logo, which quickly turns into the DC Comics logo. And then the Acclaim logo. I think that's mainly it. Next is language selection screen. And during this screen we are greeted by...
Tonight's forecast. A freeze is coming.
Outtakes or intakes of the movie in shitty PsOne quality?
But before I start playing, let's just take a look at how little time it takes to show off the demo. You see, pretty short, isn't it?
Anyway, the game starts out with a short, and by short I mean like 15 seconds intro showing us how crappy the graphics can look. And also to show us that it only resembles the movie slightly. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. The fact that they don't follow a shitload of crap should be a good thing, unless they replace it with a shit ton more crap. Or completely fucks up the story. The first thing you'll notice is the controls.
And by God, I mean, what the fuck?
As you see the game, it might look like a Resident Evil clone in terms of controls. And yeah, it kind of is. That is, if you took the same controls and put a monkey to program it. But the similarity to a bad Resident Evil clone is just the icing on top of the cake. Because this game includes driving sequences. Oh, and you're gonna need those since the game almost starts you right off in the action. Except that you have to find it first, that is. So you tinker around the bad computer looking up clues, which is kind of a waste of time since the first stage is already pointed out for you. And if you've been so unlucky as to see the movie, you pretty much know that the museum is where the first crime takes place. So you put a point on your map and... Wait a minute. Gotham tourist map?
What the fuck? Batman the billionaire superhero travels the roads with a fucking tourist map? No bad computer? No GPS and a bat theme? Hell, I'm surprised he doesn't bring the bad compass.
Anyway, you arrive at the crime scene only to find out that the controls really suck. I know I told you the controls are bad, but let me explain in some more detail. The L and R buttons are there to change from running and walking, and also the two different stances Batman has, combat and detective mode, as I like to call them. It might sound easy to go around by, but guess what? I have a huge amount of trouble punching anything. Mainly because every time I engage in a fight, I'm unaware of the enemy. They literally sneak up on you. And if you don't have the flash-like reflexes like I don't, chances are that you're gonna press one of the 4 attack buttons while you are in a detective mode.
Oh, and believe me, I have to force myself not to press the X button, even though it is a decent attack move.
Just because that in detective mode, it is the action button, making Batman do this dumb animation of him pressing something. It takes too long, and in a fight, it might even kill you.
Oh, and you might think, oh, why not just be in combat mode, you know, when you are in a combat zone and all? Well, let me tell you, because of those fucking booby traps.
You see, if I'm not able to jump, which you do by pressing triangle in detective mode, I'm pretty much dead.
Oh, but this is not even all of the bad control issues. No, the driving scenes are not without flaws either.
To exit the Batmobile, you press triangle. Simple enough. Similar to the various Grand Theft Auto games, right? What the fuck? Surely, triangle is not the answer to enter. Oh, I know, I gotta be in detective mode. No, that just makes him jump. Okay, square. No. Circle. No. X. Okay. X marks the spot. Sure, it might make sense that the action button is the button to enter the vehicle. But why is triangle the button you use to leave it? Imagine if you have to do this crap in GTA or some other games with fluent controls. It would be the most annoying thing next to getting your whole hard drive erased by a fucking goat taking a diarrhea shit all over your laptop.
Okay, maybe not that bad, but you get the idea.
A short reminder, to speed up you press X. Simple enough, but to go in reverse, you would assume it would be square like most decent driving games at the time. But no, take a guess. Seriously, just take a guess.
It's down on the D-pad. Not too senseless, but still annoying. And for some reason I always press square in vain of slowing down. Sometimes triangle as well, you know, in like some games. But that just leaves me on the street looking like a jackass.
Okay, back to the story. If you really want to know, that is. The whole museum is just one big brawl until Freeze decides to break a wall so you can proceed. And of course there's no ice skating scene in this game. Too cheap a budget, I guess. After you chase Freeze out of the museum, you actually have the chance to grab the diamond. Even though that clearly he got away with it in the movie.
Sending me to the cooler.
Stay cool, bird boy.
So the first part of the game is pretty simple, right? Yeah, just follow the movie. But since I don't want to see that piece of garbage again, I decided to go with the bit less painful solution and read up of the comic book adaptation of this movie. Well, let's see here. According to this, the next scene with Batman is inside the botanical garden. Alrighty then, on to the next stage.
Also, you can find clues on the way, but seriously, the clues is a joke. I see no purpose in using them. Since, well, if you've seen the goddamn movie, you already know what's gonna happen. Why would I waste my time stopping at different places just to get clues? I'm Batman, for God's sake, I don't need no clues. And by this point you might think that I drive lousy. But first of all, the controls feels kind of like you're ice skating just all over the place. Next thing is that I drive on the sidewalk, which you also might find weird. But let me tell you, driving into civil cars drains your life meter. Driving into hostile vehicles drains your life meter. Driving into trees, pedestrians, and about anything else on the sidewalk drains nothing.
So, if this game teaches us anything, it is that Batman is a dick to the law. Teaching us to drive on the sidewalk, will ya?
Another little detail they added to the game is return to the Batcave from where you are, at the cost of 5 minutes. I don't know how relevant it is, but I kept using this feature all the time every time I proceeded just a tiny bit. Mainly because it usually takes me around 15 minutes or even more to drive all the way back to the cave. Anyway, I reached the destination, and first off, I have a hell of a lot of trouble actually finding the building. And this time, it might be a good point to talk about the crime sensor. Oh yeah, he actually has one of those. Hell, I'm surprised he doesn't use a mail pigeon to receive mail about ongoing crime, seeing that he clearly uses a tourist map as navigation.
Oh, I'm sorry, but this map really pisses me off.
The crime sensor blinks red every time a crime takes place. So I guess I need to come back when it's blinking, right?
Actually no, since I've been there a long time now and... really... nothing.
Well, guess what? I'm at the completely wrong place. The next crime scene is not the botanical garden. It is some place called Golden Wonder or some dumb shit like that. And this is mainly where the game adds to the story. Remember in the movie where Freeze tells Frosty to go get some more diamonds? Yeah, they decided to let those places Frosty rob be stages inside this game. And you might think that is really clever to make the game more robust. But no, these places are filled with annoying traps, which, for some reason, I keep dying at. So think that makes it fun? To play some stages that require spot-on reflexes that the game cannot provide? No! It's annoying as shit! And at this point, it might be a good thing to say that every time you die, you go back to the main menu. where you have to load in the last save file, which takes some time to load, and then what? You play the game, right? No. You have to exit the bad computer to get greeted by yet another load screen, and of course to exit the bad cave, you guessed it, another fucking load screen.
You know, this is mainly why I preferred the N64 over the PsOne as a kid. It had less loading screens in general.
Anyway, getting back to the endless pitfalls, you could maybe argue that you just have to remember the different spots that have these pitfalls. But that is just annoying and nearly impossible, since when you die you go back to the last saved place. And as far as I know, you can only save the game inside the bad cave. No matter what, forcing you to drive all the way back to the crime scene every time you die. Next crime scene I happened to find was Glitterat, whatever. Why I accidentally came too late, just 1 minute or so, but of course, the crime had been committed. So I backtracked, loaded in a different file, went there ahead of the crime, and nothing. Not even the skip time command helped at all. Oh, did I forget you can skip ahead of time? Making the whole game a lot shorter since you don't have to wait for the crime. But even though I happened to be ahead of crime, still nothing. Seriously, I'm running out of ideas here. I got no clue what to do anymore. Wait, clue? If this is true, then it's one of the worst concepts I've ever happened to see in a game. Oh, not the whole getting the clues part, but that it's not executed well at all. First of all, every clue outside a few scripted ones are completely random, and you also have to get all the clues you find meanwhile the timer runs, meaning that if you don't know which clues you need and exactly where they are, chances are that you don't have enough time to execute either to get the clues to be ahead of the crime, or have to fight a lot of enemies instead of finding clues. It kind of reminds me of the Dick Tracy game for the NES. Where, go to crime scenes, pick up clues, then drive to the next scene, rinse and repeat. Another thing these two games has in common is random power-ups scattered across the city. In Dick Tracy, it's inside buildings, and in Batman, it's inside bookshops. I'm not joking. Batman breaks into open bookshops to steal their power-ups, sometimes shelves and sometimes clues. And why do I say he breaks in?
Well, maybe because he actually breaks the fucking door by punching and kicking at it. That doesn't sound like a customer to me. That sounds like a fucking robbery.
You know what? Screw all this. I'm done. I'm gonna go right up to Ivy's lair to punch the living shit out of her to be done with this game. What the? A police barrier? Really? You sons of bitches. I'm Batman. I can do what I want, damn it. I don't need your barrier. Screw you!
What the hell? I died by punching the car? I mean, who heard about that? The only thing I can think of is that the police officer sits inside the car shooting at Batman every time he punches. It doesn't make sense, but it's the only thing I got, damn it. No. Fuck this. Fuck this game. No more Batman and Robin for me. You wasted my life, you fucking piece of plastic inbreed. I want those 15 minutes back.
In conclusion, this game just feels rubbish to me. I can see what they tried to do, making an innovative detective game where you go around finding clues and beating up bad guys. But really, it is poorly executed. The controls are just too advanced for the time, not to mention completely broken. The gameplay might also be too ambitious for the time. Feels like if they did GTA 3 on the PS1. So what we get is mainly just a bad movie adaptation on an already bad movie. But in all fairness, the game is not completely awful. I would lie if I said that there weren't anything good in this game. I do like the idea that they tried to make Gotham City more lively by making random vehicles and pedestrians on the street. But sadly, the game clearly doesn't hold up nowadays. Heck, even some reviews at the time said that the game is only for Batman fanatics.
So basically, if you want to play a good Batman game, I would recommend these games, the Arkham series. Or one of the old NES games. Well, that is if you are into nostalgia.